Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Transwest Truck Trailer RV here in Fredrick, Colorado. My name's Taylor, and today we're going to be going over a 2025 Renegade Valencia. This is the 36SB. So if you guys aren't familiar, this is a front door entry, and it has a mid-bath. You can sleep 4 adults and 2 kids. So we're going to go ahead and take a walk around of the outside first, and then we'll end off on the inside. So let's go ahead and get on into it. All right, starting up front here with our wheels and tires, nothing but the best. We got our Michelins, and these are the XZE2, and our nice little Renegade emblem in that rim. As we slide over, you can see you have 2 nice steps here to kind of get into the passenger side and the cockpit up here. You have your big truck mirrors, and then you have that bunk over cab. As we slide over, I did turn on the lights for that Girard awning, so you can kind of see that LED strip, but you have a decent size awning here, and then I did turn on that exterior light as well to kind of help light up that campground. Our exterior paint for this one, I did have this is the Bickyard exterior, and we have the Hampton interior. So if this is something as far as the floor plan and it fits the colors, go ahead and tune in and we'll kind of get into all the little nitty-gritty things. We have our nice little blacked out windows here to kind of keep that sun out. And then as we take a step down here, we have our Truma AquaGo, so it's right here next to the door. If you ever need to access that in a pinch or troubleshoot anything, it's going to be right here. In our first bay door compartment, as you can see, it's all nice and carpeted in to kind of help with that insulation as well. And then if you are familiar with Renegade, you know they do have that double latch system, which is really nice, just in case one is giving you a hard time as far as latching, then you always have that secondary one for backup. But typically with Renegade bay doors, we don't really see a lot of problems. Here's that next bay door here. We do have some charging. That's why we have a little hole there, so you can go ahead and take that piece off and sleeky down any wires through that, so you can keep this bay door locked if you'd like. And then we just have some stops here for your slide out, so if you wanted to go ahead and prop those open, you could do that for those longer stays. And then I'll just go ahead and open this up for our outdoor entertainment. We have our Insignia TV and our Bose sound bar here. You can use one of them at a time or both together, so it's kind of nice having a nice Bose speaker outside that you can go ahead and just open this up and kind of bring the music outdoors. And then you have your 2 remotes in here for each as well. And then you do have one outlet here that has 2 USBs for charging. Nice little cover. This one I like as well because it's not really high up. It's easier to close, so that's nice. All right, and this is just the same bay door. As you can see, this is a through and through for those 2 bay doors that we just looked at previously. So if you have any larger items, you can go ahead and put them in there at an angle so you can fit everything you need. All right. Another storage compartment. Nothing too crazy here, just as the rest. Nice carpet lining, and again with the double latch. All right, and here is just where our propane tank is. So that's going to be the last bay door on that passenger side. It's a total of 20 pounds of propane. All right. And as we work our way to the back here, let's just go ahead and start at the very top. On that roof, we do have, we upgraded to the lithium battery package. So you have 3 lithium batteries, and then with that comes 3 solar panels at 200 watts each, so that is up there as well. And then you have 2 15,000 BTU ducted ACs up there with the heat and condensation pumps. And then we have our backup camera as we work our way down. Nice Valencia emblem here with our full body paint. And as we bring it down here to our hitch, we have a 12,000 pound towing capacity here, and then our Renegade rock guard. This little exhaust here is just going to be for our generator, which is located on the driver's side, which we'll get to next. All right, working our way over here to the driver's side. That very last bay is going to hold our 50 amp shore power cord, which is a manual pull and power retract. So you just go ahead and push this button right here and it'll automatically reel it in for you. And then you have your surge guard protector, and it also comes with a nice little dog bone. So if you needed to go from 50 to 30 amp, you have that nice and handy. All right, here is our Onan QD 8,000 watt generator where I was showing you the exhaust that's located in the back. And then to the right of that, this little white thing is just so you can go ahead and have somewhere to store those dump hoses. All right, right over here, we just have our wet bay. Something really cool about Renegade is you get a tremendous amount of fresh water capacity. So you have a total of 150 gallons for the fresh, 75 gray and 75 black. But everything is not too overwhelming in my opinion, just because you have everything kind of punched in. So it doesn't really, it won't wipe off or anything, but you got your black tank and your gray tank dumps. Nothing crazy there. Next to that, you got the black tank wash. So if you want to go ahead and rinse out those tanks. And then you have your hose reel here, just because you do have a nice little water hose already on board for you. And then this is right here where you put your filter. If you did want to go ahead and see your battery charge or what your tank levels are at, you don't have to go back inside to look at them if in case you forgot to check before you came out here. You can just go ahead and click on these. So right now our battery is holding a 13.9 volt charge, and then our tanks of course are just going to be 0 because it is still winterized, so we don't have any water on board or anything like that. All right, another cool thing that is come standard, you get the heating pads here. So that's going to be nice during the colder months, so you don't have to really worry for any freeze damage. So you have those tank heaters on. Both of these bigs, nothing too crazy. It's just going to show your water tanks. And then the next storage compartment is just a nice little tiny compartment right before we get to our battery compartment. So you have the 3 Dragonfly lithium ion batteries. So those are going to be 100 amp hours each. And then we have our chassis batteries right next to it as well. All right, right over here is just our DEF fill. And then I'm just gonna open up the door here. Sorry, I did kind of close it all off just because it's not really sunny, but it's pretty bright. But just so you can see, your nice little key fob stuff goes here. And then just to get an idea of the seats, they are nice leather seats. Everything is going to be manual. You do have a nice little grab bar here so you can gracefully get into the coach. And then other than that, nothing too crazy in the cockpit. We'll kind of get into it more once we get on the inside. Alrighty, so this is on the S2 RV chassis. I'm gonna go ahead and unlatch these before I pop the hood. Some great things about the S2 RV chassis though, it's the only chassis out there that's built specifically for an RV. Sorry, totally pinched myself there. And then another thing before I pop the hood, so it's kind of nice because it's a lightweight aluminum cab here with steel reinforcements and doors. And then it is on a nice little hinge here, so I barely have to pull, and it automatically kind of pulls itself open for you. But the whole objective of building this chassis that's specifically for an RV, it's just gonna give you a better and more luxurious ride. And it kind of helps with the longevity of your coach too, so it's not really bouncing around and getting, things coming loose and all that kind of stuff. But it does come with the volumetric airbags, sack shocks, rear mounted sway bar, and then it's engineered, of course, to give you that best ride quality for a Super C. And then this is on a Freightliner, again, S2 RV chassis with a Cummins ISB 6.7 liter, 360 horsepower with 800 foot-pounds of torque. And it's on the 33,000, it has a 33,000 pound GVWR, and again with that 12,000 pound towing capacity. And then your fuel tank in here is going to be 100 gallons for that diesel fuel. Everything in here that is red is going to be Cummins. But as you can see, if you are someone that likes to tinker with things, you have full accessibility in here to kind of see everything. So you can go ahead and change your own filters, oil, and all that good stuff if you'd like to. If not, you can go ahead and bring it here to Transwest, and we will always service the units for you. Alrighty, now I'm just going to go ahead and demonstrate. As you can see, you push it back. It's not really going to slam down. Again, it has that nice little hinge in there. And then just make sure you don't pinch yourself like I did earlier to unlatch these. And I'm gonna go ahead and latch one side, and then we will go ahead and just work our way on the inside. Alrighty, Now that we open the door, I just wanted to let you know you do have a nice little screen door here with that plastic cover, so you don't have to worry about any bugs getting in. You do have a deadbolt, and then your latch is right over here. But as we take our first steps, to our left here, we have our battery disconnect, so you'll go ahead and turn that on. Whatever lights you automatically had on will turn on again. You have the entry step override, so if you wanted them to stay out while you're camping, instead of every time you close that door, you go ahead and just flip that switch, and then you do have a nice little e-start. And then you have your fire extinguisher and your Xantrax. Alrighty, as you guys take some steps inside, I'm gonna double check to make sure I already have all of the lights on for you. Since I have all the shades closed, I wanted to get as much of the lighting in here as I could, just so you can kind of see what it looks like with all the natural light in. But as you can see, all slides are closed. Again, it's a dual slide, so we're gonna have a slide here and then a slide in our bedroom, but plenty of room to walk through. Makes it really comfortable, great for pets, and just while you're going down the road, being able to access your fridge, as well as that mid-bath, of course, and then having plenty of counter space and maneuverability while you're going down the road, because that's what the big advantage is of having an RV. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and open up the slide first here. So we'll do our first slide, which is on the driver's side. And again, this is all the Hampton interior decor. And we do have some carpet on this slide, but right next to it is that hardwood floor. Perfect. That one is completely out. Now I'm just going to go do the one in the bedroom, our rear slide. Alrighty, and just like that, we have everything open and we are camp ready. We'll just go ahead and start in the rear here. Just forgot to close one of the windows. All right, so this is our master bedroom back here. As you can see, we have our night lights on, and then you do have a little button here for lights, your reading lights, gen start and gen stop. And then you can also turn off all the lights with a click of a button as well. And then you have some nice storage overhead. And then all of these are going to be through and through, so it's just one piece here with 3 doors. So if you had anything a little bit longer, you have the option of kind of putting it in there, as well as some charging in the way back. And then you do have charging bedside with a nice little cutout here. I like having this little countertop ledge as well as the cutout. Just gives you some more options. And then you do have a nice little cubby here with 2 shelves to put some more storage as well. Alrighty, of course, and behind me we have this nice mirror. That's going to really help with that natural lighting too, so when you do have those shades up, kind of helps, you know, bounce the light around, as well as just make this bedroom feel a little bit bigger as well. So on either side, they're going to be identical, so I'm just going to open this side, but as you can see, very tall for your hanging rack here, and then you have a total of 4 drawers. I'll go ahead and just start from the bottom and open them up real quickly. And then they are all soft close, so just give them a little tap to get them closed. And then for our middle section, you have 2 big drawers. And then this is just going to be for any of the TV stuff, for those receivers. And then you have another drawer here with your remote in there. I always enjoy having a nice little countertop here, just because, especially since it's just a single bath, I know it is split, but if you do have kids and you have a daughter that needs to get ready, this is kind of have a nice little area to kind of prop up a mirror, then you can be getting ready at the same time. You kind of don't need to switch out. So I like having that option, as well as a little bit more counter space to get ready, or just somewhere to kind of set up jewelry, perfumes, or any of that kind of stuff while you're on vacation, to make it feel a little bit more like home. And then, sorry, I almost forgot the whole reason why I let this go up. You have an emergency exit right here. I just wanted to display here. So another thing that people really, why they lean more towards a Super C, just because you have not only this emergency exit, your door, but then you also have the driver and passenger's doors as exits as well. And then underneath the bed, that's just going to be where your fresh water tank is. Whoops, so I was going to say, I can lift that up so you can kind of see really quick. So you just have no storage under here, you just have that 150 gallons of fresh water. It's kind of nice having it up inside of the coach because then you don't have to worry about any freeze damage. As long as the internal temperature inside your coach doesn't get below freezing, then you're good to go. Alrighty, so you have a nice little pocket door here that you can close. It's all perfectly buttoned up now, but I did just want to point that out, that you have one here and then also one over there, so you can completely close this area off to give yourself some privacy. But now we're entering the mid-bath. It's kind of nice to have a sink outside and then having your, your shower and your toilet separate, just because someone can still be brushing their teeth as someone's showering or using the restroom. And then you have a nice little medicine cabinet here. Another touchscreen. We didn't go over on the other one, so I guess I'll just use this one to kind of give you a nice little overview. This is just our home screen, so you can go ahead and see the master light. That's again, whatever lights were automatically already on. You can go ahead and turn those on, they'll turn on again, and then turn them off. Right over here is just an overview for all of your tank capacities. You can turn on your water pump, your tank heaters, and your satellite. Right over here, you just have your house and chassis battery charge. You can start and stop your generator, and then you can go ahead and see your charging. This screen is just going to be all the individual lights, so if you want to turn certain ones off and leave other ones on, you can go ahead and do that from here. I'll turn off all the exterior ones since we're not out there anymore. And then just a whole electrical overview here for the charging, another way to turn on the generator and so forth. Oh, skipped over the heating, sorry. Heating and cooling will be right over here. As you can see, you have two for that AC. And then over here is just going to be for our slide outs, leveling, in addition to our awning controllers. And then the window shade that's up there in the front bunk that I'll show you momentarily. Right over here is just configuration screen, so you can go ahead and set your brightness as well as the time conversion. You can download your app, network diagnoses, and all that kind of stuff. But you have a total of 2 of these in the coach. All right, continuing on with our bathroom setup, we have 2 chargings here, our nice little sink, and then we have 3 drawers down below for some storage. Again, all soft close, and then a nice cabinet. All right, and directly across from that, before I show you guys the shower and all that kind of stuff, we do have, we upgraded to get the washer and dryer set up here. So you have that. I really like that this is midship in the bathroom, just because when your slides are closed, you don't have any obstruction. So if you're wanting to go ahead and switch the loads out, or take some of the dry clothes and start folding it while you're going down the road, so you don't have to worry about doing that when you get to your destination, you have the option of doing that, which is kind of cool. All right, now into our bathroom here. I was gonna say, okay, perfect. I did unlatch this one here. So you have your nice little pocket door to go ahead and close that off so you can give yourself privacy. So a total of 3 doors, one here, and then one here, so you can completely seclude this area off if you needed to. And then you have a little towel bar here, some switches for the lighting as well as for your max air fan up there. And then your shower, all the little stainless steel accents in there. You do have a nice little spot where you can sit down or lift up your leg for all the lady things. And it is nice and circular here. And you have, I'll just go ahead and open it up. You have your skylight up here too, so for those taller folks, already with the Super C, the height in here is a little bit bigger than a Class A. So if you are taller, I would definitely recommend, just kind of for the sake of comfortability and height purposes, I would say go ahead and check out a Super C. I am, I say 5'7", but probably more so 5'8", and I could barely touch the roof. So just something to kind of keep in mind as far as how big it really is in here. Alrighty, now we'll go ahead and work our way into the kitchen area. Let's start on this side with our refrigerator. So we got our Samsung. So this is going to be an 18-foot stainless steel residential fridge. And I like how there isn't any, you know, little knobs or anything right here. You can just go ahead and use this little lip. Don't have to worry as much for fingerprints and whatnot, and just gives it a sleeker look. This one does have the ice maker though in it, so you don't have to worry about buying ice while you're on vacation. All right, then you have a nice little latch here too, so you don't have to worry about it flying open while you're going down the road. I know this is what you thought a pantry was, but you do have all of your breakers and fuses located right here. But it is kind of nice that they made it look like it was a part of the kitchen. But all the space as far as for the pantry is going to be up here with 2 adjustable shelves. And then I didn't open up this, but you do have some more pantry space, perfect for chips and maybe some canned goods or kind of the things that you don't eat all the time, for some extra food just in case you kind of have a longer trip than expected. All right. I always forget that this is 2 pieces. Some of them just fold up. But you do have your nice little stainless steel Dometic 3-burner propane cooktop here. And then directly above that, you have your High Point microwave, again with the stainless steel. And I'll go ahead and open up that for you. All right. And directly above that, you have some more storage. Again, perfect for any big boxes or big chip boxes. I don't know, all the Costco things that you might buy for vacation. A spot to put sodas and whatnot. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and just start with all of the bottom storage. Open that up briefly so you can kind of take a little bit of an overview. And I'll just skedaddle by you real quick. Alrighty, so this is going to sum up all of the kitchen space in addition to the little trash can you get. But something I did want to point out too is the amount of counter space you have with a little extra. So if you have a whole mound of dishes that are just piled in there and you don't really know what to do because it gets a little overwhelming sometimes, you could just go ahead and prop that out. Or while you're cooking and you just want to lay everything out for dinner, lunch, breakfast, any of that kind of good stuff, so you can get a train going. Everyone serve themselves. You can go ahead and use this enormous amount of counter space. And then you have your huge single bowl for that sink. But it's kind of nice how everything has a cover, so it kind of adds into that counter space. Alrighty. Let me just go ahead and unlatch this. And then now we're going to go ahead and jump across. So we'll go ahead and look at our booth dinette and how some of the seating areas that we have in here. So right over here, we just have our booth dinette. We do have 2 seat belts right here, so you can comfortably sit 2 people here safely with seat belts. This table does come down, so you can create a sleeping area here for the smaller kiddos. And then you have some nice cup holders up here, so we're going down the road, you don't have to worry about any drinks or anything like that spilling over. And then you do have some charging too, to charge any electronics while you're going down the road as well. One last thing I wanted to point out, which you guys may have already known, is the storage that's underneath these. This is just a cushion which you'll need to go ahead and convert this into a bed. And it does have a nice little button. So again, while you're going down the road, you don't have to worry about it kind of flying open. All right, and then right over here, we just have our theater seating. So this is an electric theater seating. You do have just a little manual pull. So you just go ahead and pull that open and it will spring open. Someone needs to be sitting in it. But you go ahead and do that. And then you have a nice little cubby here in between with the cup holders. I feel like that's kind of a little bit more of the main attraction for the theater seats, is just having the option of somewhere to set your drink. Unlike a couch, you kind of have to, you're stuck holding it. And then of course, theater seats are just a little bit more comfortable. And then you have some more storage up here which another one of the cushions, well, 2 of the cushions are in here as well that you'll need to go ahead when you want to convert that into a sleeping area. All right. And then up here, here's the second area I was telling you about as far as for that you could sleep adults. You just have to pull this shelf so you can close off that area and unfold this mattress, but you do have some charging right over here and your own dedicated TV. And then you have a nice little skylight, so if it's raining or snowing or you want to look at the stars, it's kind of nice to open that up. And it's just a cool way to let in some natural light as well. And then you have some covers here to give yourself some privacy. The key ingredient, in my opinion, is just if you don't have people that are always going to stay with you, you just want the option of having, you know, another sleeping area. This is just super awesome to be able to kind of completely push it out of the way, and it's kind of out of sight, out of mind, and then it still looks somewhat elegant and beautiful having that skylight, and then having another little TV doesn't really get in the way. But also, if you camp with people that have kids and they kind of just want to come in here, they'll have their own little fort, their own little TV. You can keep them nice and occupied. All right, and as far as this little curtain setup, I just wanted to close off all of that light, which I've mentioned a few times, but also wanted to demonstrate this. So it's kind of nice and easy. You have some Velcro strips here. So you just go ahead and unfold that, slide it through, and then you can go ahead and nicely button it up here with the little Velcro straps again, if I can find the other side. All right, and then now do this side. And it really opens everything up. Alrighty, now let's go ahead and take our first steps in here. I'll go ahead and turn the chassis on for you guys so everything can light up. All right, perfect. So here's your nice big Freightliner steering wheel. You can go ahead and flip through all of this LED dash up here with your arrows, and then for volume up and down. And then right over here is just going to be for when you pair your phone, so you can go ahead and answer calls, your cruise control, and then flip through screens over here as well. We'll just go ahead and let that Garmin wake up here. All right, so right here is just a nice little overview. This is kind of cool because it completely comes off. So if your co-pilot needed to change the destination while you're driving, you don't need like a separate touchscreen over there next to them. They can just go ahead and peel this off, click right here, and then type in wherever you wanted to go. Easy, nice to go back. And then you have all of your apps on here. You have weather, voice command, another 2 different weather apps, trip planners, all of your history. So if there are places that you didn't really remember what route you took, you can automatically save that for future reference, campgrounds, and then go ahead and backtrack. But all nice little tools that are on here. And then this is just how you go ahead and turn it off. You can turn for volume for your radio up and down, and then skipping channels and all that stuff. And then it's just kind of nice being able to take this off and kind of use it in the coach as well. And then once you magnet it back up there, it'll automatically charge it for you as well. So down below here, we just have our hazard lights, our footwell, our ATC spin switch, and then our suspension dump, our docking lights, our camera here, just some charging, and then our automatic leveling jacks. That's what was beeping at us earlier, just to let us know that it needed some attention. And then right down here is just our heating and cooling, and then you got your big cup holders. And then I did forget to mention just the storage that you have up above here. So that's pretty much going to wrap it up for our 2025 Valencia. Again, this is the 36SB. If you guys have any comments, questions, or concerns, or you'd like a brochure or just some more information on this one, I can go ahead and email it your way. You can give me a call at 970-388-7937. Thanks again for tuning in, and have a great day.